Have you ever noticed that the most exhausting part of keeping a home isn't the actual cleaning, it's constantly remembering what needs to be done? Folding laundry while thinking about the dishes. Doing dishes while remembering the floors. Your mind is always running some never-ending list of invisible tasks. I used to think maybe I just need to try harder, do one big cleaning day and get it over with. But it never worked. The house stayed tidy for a few hours. And then the mess crept back in. Turns out the problem wasn't that I wasn't doing enough. It was that I was doing it the wrong way. In this video, I want to share 9 tiny habits that changed how I manage clutter, not just in my home, but in my head. I'm not naturally tidy. I don't have extra time or a flawless routine. But what I do have now are a few small habits I repeat consistently, just enough to keep things under control, without feeling overwhelmed. Thanks to that, the mess no longer feels like it's waiting around the corner. And my brain finally gets some peace, too. If you've been living in that state of always being one task away from feeling okay, I think at least one of these habits will help you breathe a little easier. Why spend your Sunday cleaning the whole house when you can spend 15 minutes a day and never have to again? For years, I'd let things build up during the week. The shoes by the door, the dishes that didn't quite make it into the dishwasher, the random little piles on every surface. I told myself I'd deal with it all on the weekend. But by the time Saturday came around, the house felt like it had turned against me. And honestly, I resented it. Then I tried something I didn't expect to work. I set a timer for 15 minutes. Once a day. That was it. No goal to finish the house, no checklist, just 15 focused minutes to reset whatever I could. I didn't overthink it. I didn't try to make it perfect. Most days I do it after dinner. I wipe down the counters, put away clutter from the living room, throw in a load of laundry, toss a few toys into the bin. Some days it's one corner of the kitchen. Some days I barely get through the entryway. But that's enough, because when you do a little every day, the mess doesn't get a chance to multiply. You stop waking up to disaster zones. You stop using your weekend just to dig yourself out of a hole. It's not about having a spotless home, it's about never having to start from zero. This tiny habit didn't just keep my house from falling apart, it gave me back the part of my day that used to feel stolen. But even with that rhythm in place, one thing still threw everything off. Laundry, the clean stuff. Sitting in baskets, piling on chairs, waiting in that in-between state that somehow feels messier than dirty clothes ever did. And if you're looking to go deeper, tomorrow's video is where it gets even better. I'll be sharing expert-level cleaning and decluttering habits, the kind that don't just make things look tidy, but help them stay that way. Subtle shifts. Professional tricks. The habits that made me wonder why I hadn't done them sooner. So, if you've ever felt like you're stuck in a loop of re-cleaning the same space, this is the video you really shouldn't skip. So next, let's talk about the rule I started following and how it finally ended the laundry loop for good. Clean laundry isn't really clean if it's just sitting there. We don't talk about this enough. A pile of unfolded clothes, even if it smells fresh, still adds to the mess. It still fills your space. It still takes up mental room. And if you leave it long enough, it ends up needing to be rewashed. Again. That used to be my loop. I'd wash a load thinking, at least I'm getting ahead. But days would pass. The pile would move from the dryer to the basket to the bed, then back to the basket again, still clean, but never truly done. So I changed one thing. Now I only do laundry when I know I have the time to finish it. That means washed, dried, folded, and put away. Not just washed and waiting. If I'm short on time, I don't start. Even if the hamper's full. Because I've learned that half-done laundry feels heavier than dirty clothes ever did. Now, when I do a load, it goes all the way. And that gives me 2 wins. The clothes are done, and my space stays clear. There's a kind of relief that comes from completing something fully. It's not about being perfect, It's about not creating new mess while trying to fix the old one. And once I got honest about what I could actually finish, I started being more intentional with what I even brought into the house. Let's talk about that next. For a long time, I thought my home felt cluttered because I hadn't organized it well enough. I kept telling myself I just needed better bins, more shelves, a weekend to finally get it together. But the truth is, the problem wasn't what was already in my house. It was how much I kept bringing in without ever letting anything go. I wasn't hoarding, I wasn't shopping out of control. But I was constantly upgrading a new tumbler, another hoodie, one more cute notebook, a backup of a backup, just in case. And all those small additions added up into more to store, more to clean, more to manage. So I started following one simple rule, one in, one out. Every time something new comes in, something else has to go. Buy a new hoodie. Donate the one I haven't touched all season. Pick up a new mug I love. Get rid of the chipped one that's been annoying me for months. The key is doing it immediately, not next week, not once I organize the cabinet. Right then, before the new thing even finds its spot. Just the other day, I brought home a new mug I absolutely loved. Before I even washed it, I opened the cabinet, pulled out the mug I liked the least, and dropped it into the donation box I keep by the door. Simple. Done. And no new clutter created. This habit isn't about being minimalist. It's about staying even. Your home has a limit, and when you stop ignoring that, it finally breathes again. Drawers close easier. Cabinets don't spit things out at you. And your brain isn't constantly asking, "Where do I put this?" This habit helped me stop the mess before it started, and that alone made daily life feel lighter. Now, let's move on to the next one. A small shift that helped me stop cluttering my screen the same way I used to clutter my shelves. I used to wake up already tired, not from lack of sleep, but because the second I opened my eyes, my mind was already spinning. I'd reach for my phone to check the time. Then suddenly, I'd be in my inbox scrolling Instagram, seeing messages I wasn't ready to answer. And before I even got out of bed, I felt like the day had taken over. That one habit, picking up my phone right away, was quietly stealing the calm I didn't even know I needed. So I stopped. Now, most mornings I give myself a few quiet minutes before reaching for anything. I brush my teeth, make coffee, open a window, small things that belong to me, not the outside world. And that space, even just 10 minutes, changed how I moved through the whole day. Because I wasn't starting in reaction mode. I wasn't letting other people's voices be louder than my own. I felt less rushed, less scattered, more steady. That shift gave me space not just in my schedule, but in my head. And when your mind feels clearer, it becomes easier to handle everything else, especially your to-do list. Which brings us to the next habit. There were days when I felt like I did 100 things, and still ended the day feeling like nothing actually got done. My to-do list was full, but my brain was scattered. A quick grocery run, then switch to bills, then reply to school emails, then vacuum, then back to the laptop. All important, but constantly switching made everything harder to finish and harder to feel good about. Then I changed the way I made my list. Instead of writing down a long mix of everything, I started grouping tasks by theme. House chores in one group, work in another, errands in a block, and so on. And suddenly, my day had a rhythm. Instead of ping-ponging from one kind of energy to another, I could stay in one lane for longer. It felt smoother, less chaotic. I didn't feel like I was dropping and picking up mental tabs every 15 minutes. Here's what that looks like for me. If it's a home day, I batch the house stuff, laundry, cleaning, meal prep. If it's a desk day, I focus on emails, bills, and planning. Even if I only have 2 hours, I use those 2 hours in the same zone. I don't always follow it perfectly. Life happens. But having that structure means I always know where to start, and that alone makes everything feel lighter. Next, I'll show you a habit that helped me feel the same clarity around my money with one simple weekly practice. Decluttering isn't just about stuff. It's about anything that makes your life feel heavier than it needs to be. And for me, that included money. I wasn't overspending, but I was avoiding. Every week felt like a quiet guessing game. Did we already eat out 3 times? Is that subscription still active? Wait, where did all of it go? And that mental noise? It added up, so I started doing something tiny but powerful. Every Sunday, I take 5 minutes to look through my bank app. No spreadsheets, no rules, just awareness. And week by week, things got clearer. I stopped letting money become background clutter in my mind. I made small decisions faster, canceled things we didn't need, noticed when a pattern crept in, felt informed instead of reactive. This one habit didn't just help me save. It helped me think clearer. Because there's real mental weight in not knowing. Now, money feels less mysterious. And just like clearing a messy drawer, that feeling of clarity made room for something better. Next, I'll show you how I do the same thing with my digital space, just 5 clicks at a time. Have you ever opened your inbox and instantly felt overwhelmed? That was me. Every time I opened my laptop, I'd feel this low-key stress. Unread emails folders I hadn't named screenshots from 3 months ago, and I'd think, ugh, I should really clean this up. But the thing is, I never had time for a full digital clean-out. And honestly, I didn't want to spend my weekend organizing files. So I made it simple. Every day I delete 5 things. Just 5. It might be junk mail, or old recipes I saved but never cooked, or that blurry photo I forgot to delete. Sometimes I rename a folder or finally unsubscribe from something I don't even remember signing up for. It's not a big project. It's a tiny clean-as-you-go habit, like wiping the counter after cooking but for your mind. And it really works. Because when I open my screen now, I don't feel like I'm stepping into another mess. I feel calm, like I'm not behind on everything before I've even started. And that little shift made me look at my home differently too. Next, I'll show you the rule I use to decide which physical items need to go and which ones I've been holding on to while waiting for someday to finally come. There's a specific kind of guilt that comes from things we keep but never use. The coat we thought we'd wear. The blender we swore would help us make smoothies. And every time we see it, we tell ourselves, maybe soon. But weeks go by, then months, and that someday item becomes just another layer of clutter, not just in the house, but in our minds. So I gave myself one rule. If I haven't used it in 6 months, it's probably not something I need. That little boundary helped me make clearer choices. I wasn't throwing out everything. I was just being honest. Do I actually use this? Or am I just feeling bad about letting it go? Now, once a month, I do a quiet reset. I walk through the house and ask one question. When was the last time I actually touched this? Last time I let go of a chipped mug, a curling iron I hadn't used in years, and a tote bag that looked nice but never left the closet. And what I felt wasn't loss. It was relief. Because the less I have to manage, the more space I have to breathe. In the final habit, I'll show you the one thing I started doing at night that helps me wake up less stressed and more present for what matters. Here's something I didn't expect. I sleep better on the nights I write down what I already did, not what I still need to do. Because for years I'd go to bed tired but not relaxed. My brain would run through every task I hadn't finished. Did I forget something? Should I set a reminder? What about tomorrow? Even after a full day, I still felt behind. That's when I started a simple habit. Every night before bed, I write down 3 things I already did. Not things I plan to do. Not a to-do list. Just a quiet list of what I managed, big or small. Like I called mom back. I vacuumed under the table. I packed snacks for the kids. No overthinking. Just noticing. And what surprised me was how much this helped me mentally close the day. It's like telling your brain, you've done enough for today. You can stop now. And that gentle pause, that simple shift is what helped me declutter the part of my life I didn't even realize was full: my thoughts, my expectations, my need to always do more. 3 lines, 2 minutes. But it cleared more space in my mind than I ever expected. These were 9 tiny habits that helped me declutter not just my home, but my days, my mind, and even the way I saw my time. Not everything changed at once, but each one gave me a bit more clarity, a bit more calm, and that made all the difference. If just one of them helped you feel a little lighter today, then that's already enough to start. And if you're ready to go a step deeper, I've got something for you. Tomorrow's video is all about expert-level cleaning and decluttering habits, the kind that don't just tidy up your home, but keep it that way. They're simple, smart, and honestly, they're what helped me stop feeling like I was always playing catch-up. So, if you've ever cleaned the same corner a dozen times and wondered, why is it always messy again? Don't miss that one. And if today's video helped even just a little, you can let me know by hitting like, leaving a comment with the habit you'll try first, or simply sharing this with someone who needs it. And don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss tomorrow's video. You deserve a home and a mind that feels easier to live in.